Hey everyone, this is Laura Mignot from D-Flash. I'm super excited to have a fantastic conversation with Eric Rees and Joe Wilson, two of the founders of the C19 Coalition. And we're going to jump right in. So, guys, it's been a year. Tell us, what made you start C19 Coalition?
Well, it was no master plan, let me tell you. We were, ordinary citizens. We both come from the tech industry, minding our own business when the pandemic hit. And for a variety of reasons, both of us got pulled into some of the early relief efforts, especially around the lack of PPE, but also issues in education and equity, food security, masks in the early days, like a lot of different causes that were popping up, trying to fill in the civic gaps due to the failure of leadership that was happening in our country around the time of the pandemic breaking. And we really saw just how unprepared we were as a society to deal with something like this that has both such dramatically bad health outcomes, but also such unequal outcomes across many of our communities. And so we started to work with a bunch of the different actors who were trying to make a difference. So we were working with other pop-up nonprofit groups that were flooding into the zone to try to figure out how they could help, but also reaching out to folks in traditional industry and even with state, local, and national governments to see, hey, could we act as a coordinating body to try and bring people together to try to make, not to solve the pandemic, maybe that's too big, but just to fight inequities wherever we could find them and make things a little bit better.
Awesome. And Joe, what brought you into this universe of C19?
I mean, it was a lot of the same things. I think that when Eric and I started this, we kind of framed it as, hey, it's a weekend project. And then it was, let's try to wrap this up in a month. And then it was, I guess we'll go through the summer. And before we knew it, we were a year in. And I think throughout it, our focus just, it kept shifting a little bit. It stayed within kind of the same broad parameters, but we kept discovering subjects and people and communities who were impacted by the pandemic in different ways. And at first, it was very basic. It was getting personal protective equipment to them and helping them get access to food. And then over time, it became more nuanced, and it became much more of a local initiative. Doing things like helping facilitate large donations. At the end of last year, actually, we helped facilitate a 5 million mask donation to the city of Los Angeles to provide to schools, to testing sites, as well as the Department of Transportation for people who are taking the bus every day and may not have access to personal protective equipment. So, it's been interesting to see the evolution, and especially now that hopefully we're heading towards the end of the pandemic with some of the vaccination efforts. Fingers crossed. But it's been a humbling experience. But I think the C19 Coalition has really been able to help a lot of people in a lot of communities over the last year.
Yeah, and so I love you guys to talk about that because it's, there were a lot of different organizations that popped up right as everything was, on fire last year. And they've kind of popped up and then popped away. But C19 has stayed for the past year and continues to go and continues to innovate, which is also why we're doing the fundraiser of NBA Top Shots. Like, what made you all stay?
Well, I feel like one of the things that has been so abundantly clear in the pandemic is that this is a global problem that requires everyone to be part of the fight. So I actually have been very discouraged to see folks, decide that this is somebody else's job to solve this problem, or because somebody else didn't do their job, then they don't have to do anything. So I kind of view our role as been just be a consistent voice to say that everyone can play a role. There's something everybody can do, large or small, whether you're in private industry or government or a nonprofit or just an ordinary citizen, there's something you can do. And I will say, like, to me, this has been the ultimate light in dark places, to see, we have many, many member organizations in the C19 Coalition, and to see the ways that they have found to help people has been incredibly inspiring. And some of it is like big and dramatic and, billions of units of PPE is really exciting, but some of it is also really small and very touching, an individual nursing home or an individual hospice care center that couldn't get PPE that we were able to get, help arrange for them to get, supplies that they critically needed. And I'll also say one other thing, which is the pandemic has changed and evolved. And yet each new phase of it, I feel like as a society, we go in with amnesia. Like we didn't remember what happened in the previous phase. So we have a wave, people get restrictive and they're more protective, and then the numbers start to go down and we celebrate too early and then we drive the numbers back up. So we kind of oscillate back and forth. And so to me, for me personally, this has played a kind of a stabilizing role to say like, no, there's a consistent through line here, which is to take what we've learned, every best practice we learned in one phase, and apply it to the next and the next and the next. And hopefully, we're not only setting the stage for the next thing to happen with this pandemic to get better at it, but also preserving these best practices and figuring out what do we need to do for our society to be better prepared for the crises of the future.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's, as a coalition, we really are all about our partner organizations. And if we can play a role behind the scenes, that's typically where we like to live. Early on, it was groups like Operation Mask and large corporations like Flexport and Cardinal Health that were helping get PPE to those that needed it. As the pandemic evolved, with vaccinations, it's been groups like Healthvana and frankly, even the White House Task Force, who has been able to play a critical role and joins our town halls on a monthly basis to understand where the pain points are across the country. So for us, we like to think of ourselves as a gathering place, and if a partner needs help, we like to work behind the scenes to make them realize their vision.
Awesome. It's not about all the accolades, it's about doing the great work. And speaking of that, so even though you guys have been behind the scenes, what's coming up on April 15th is actually a little more of a kind of a coming out party, because we're going to be partnering with NBA Top Shots to do a virtual fundraiser on Twitch and hopefully raise some great amount of cash for our Sunday Supper program. So we'd love you guys to talk about that and why you think it's the future of where we're headed.
Well, I love NBA Top Shots, so I'm excited. Just because I think it's a really cool, very innovative thing, and and I love the NBA. But I think for what I'm excited about, we don't normally operate in front of the camera. I don't know that we've even ever done a video like this about C19 Coalition. We generally just tend to be connecting partner organizations and letting them have the limelight. But I'm excited. I feel like this is such a great and unique moment for the public to stand up and be counted, and for ordinary people to say, no, this isn't over. Like, it's just because some people are vaccinated, some people have been able to, to work from home, some people have been insulated from this, a lot of people haven't. And we're one society. Pandemics, one of the things that it really shows is how we are all deeply interconnected. And so I just thought the idea of being able to do a fundraiser where so many different people from different walks of life could come together and say, here's something that's unequivocally good, that unequivocally helps all of us by helping those who are the most in need. That seemed like something worth supporting and even worth coming in front of the camera.
Yeah, and I think that, as institutions continue to evolve, I think it's exciting to start to utilize new platforms and see what opportunities they bring. And Top Shots has clearly developed a new way of interacting with the world. And to be one of the first or the first organization to leverage that platform to potentially help a fantastic cause is a really cool thing. And I'd love to continue doing it going forward.
And it's in keeping with what we've seen with a number of sports figures and celebrities like stepping up their leadership during the pandemic. You think about Eat, Learn, Play and the work that they've done, with food and food insecurity at a tremendous scale. Bigger than some governmental actors. And I just think that's part of the privilege and responsibility of leadership in our society. And I think we sometimes kind of separate out leadership. It's just our political leaders or it's just our business leaders. And it's like, no, everyone who has prominence, who has the public's attention, everyone who's a celebrity or an influencer, as they say, like anyone who has that platform also has the responsibility to do something with it. And it's been great to see people from the sports world and others step up and do the right thing here.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I think because we've grounded it into something that everyone can understand. So the idea of a Sunday supper where let's bring some dignity back to the process of getting vaccinated or getting tested, and not just thinking, oh, walk up, drive up, get your arm shot or, get your nose swabbed, but actually, how do we reinvent that experience? So again, it's grounded in dignity. So like you get a free meal, and that's made by local restaurants. You're helping the local community. You're going to get tested. In some places, we'll be able to do vaccinations in the communities of color that need it. Because I think, kind of what you guys were both saying, that there's still this weird disparity where people think, well, I've got a mask, so everyone else has a mask. And like, yeah, no, they don't. And I think that's one of the things that's been so wonderful in working with you guys at C19 is that we've really gotten down to like, 100 masks makes a difference to a community in small and rural Arkansas. And like 50 masks makes a whole lot of help to folks who are in a smaller homeless shelter in New Jersey. And those things are so tangible and fungible. So, I think that's part of the reason that we're so excited to work with NBA Top Shots, because we can create these experiences in communities that need them and then see the immediate impact. You're going to see people be able to go get your PPE, get your vaccination, get your shot. And it doesn't feel like, a military installation. It's a community-driven experience. And I think those sorts of experiences are what we can kind of hopefully reimagine as we come out of this, that we rebuild what community looks like and what it feels like. So we don't go back to being so selfish that we were previously, but we actually do work together and make the world a better place.
Well, Laura, I think you also deserve an incredible amount of credit, not just for this event, but for your leadership throughout the pandemic, helping us see the ways in which we can bring communities together and to paint that vision of a more equitable and more inclusive future, for every crisis to come. I think that will be your legacy. So we really thank you.
Oh, thanks, Eric. So any final thoughts from you guys? So it's April 15th. It'll be 7 p.m. Eastern time on the NBA Top Shots Twitch live stream. Folks will be able to watch as we open packs and hopefully raise a truckload of money.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, we're both extremely excited for the event, and we're looking forward to being engaged and really running with this partnership.
Yeah, and just want to say thank you to everybody in advance who's going to be participating and donating and be part of it. Thanks for helping us innovate and pioneer a new form of community, a new form of philanthropy. Hopefully this is the first of many cool things to come. So thank you.
Awesome. So for more information, check out shotsforshots.org, and you'll see all the information about what the fundraiser is going to look like. And we invite you all to take a look, donate, and continue to connect with C19 Coalition. It's a fantastic organization that I'm honored to be a part of. And Eric and Joe, I know it's hard to get you guys all together, so I'm super psyched that we were able to make this happen. So thank you guys again.
Thanks for making it happen.
Hey everybody, this is Laura Mignot from C19 Coalition. I'm so excited to have Charlotte Weiner, who is working at Stop the Spread. We're going to talk about our great partnership where we're doing the Sunday supper dinner at Church of God in Brooklyn this coming Mother's Day. So Charlotte, so great to have you on the show.
It's great to be here, Laura. I'm really excited to be working together on this.
Likewise. So tell us, what has Stop the Spread been up to and how did this all come to be?
Yeah. So, Stop the Spread is a national nonprofit that's focused on COVID response. We started as a group of volunteers last March, and now we're a national nonprofit working on the West Coast and the East Coast to really catalyze the private and philanthropic sector's response to COVID. This spring, we've been, hyper focused on vaccine equity, and that's where, the work with the C19 Coalition, Community Healthcare Network, and the Sunday Supper work becomes sort of top of mind. So we are working together with Community Healthcare Network, which is one of the largest federally qualified healthcare centers in New York City, to bring vaccines to New York's hardest hit neighborhoods. So where Sunday Supper comes in this work is we are partnering with CHN to stand up and run 4 community-based vaccination sites in Washington Heights, in Harlem, in East New York, and in Brooklyn. And the work that we do together is really, really oriented to making vaccines as accessible as possible to folks all across the city.
Awesome. And so this Sunday, we've got our very first Sunday supper experience, and it's going to be at Church of God in Brooklyn. And we are beyond thrilled to be working with you all to have this come to life and not only have folks get vaccinated, but get them a 6-week supply of PPE and a free local meal for their families. So we are thrilled to be partnering with you all at Stop the Spread and Community Health Networks, because this is what it's all about. It's like bringing the vaccines to the people. I think we saw it today with the president saying, like, we're trying to sort of having mass sites get smaller and more local and folks who are part of the community. And I'm sure you all have seen that as you've been doing this for the last couple of months. Getting the community involved is what actually moves this ball forward.
Yeah, no, we're thrilled to be doing everything that we can to really make vaccines as accessible as possible to the communities, and then listen to folks about what would make, vaccination something that they would want to bring a family member along to. And so we are thrilled about the idea of the Sunday supper event, and so looking forward to working together in East New York.
Awesome. So we are super psyched. So if you're watching this, you don't need an appointment. You are welcome to come to the Church of God on Sutter Avenue in East New York from 9 to 5. We have Pfizer vaccines, first and second doses. So even if you've had a first one somewhere else, you can come to Church of God for your second dose, provided within your 2 weeks. And also, again, you'll get that 6-week supply of PPE, and you'll also get that free local meal made by a local restaurant in town. And, this is really about, again, bringing dignity back to this experience, because we know it's been so difficult for folks to find right places, making appointments. No appointment needed, just come through. And you guys have been successfully doing this for the last several months. And so we are proud to partner with you all to make this Sunday Supper experience come together.
Yeah, it's wonderful to be working together, and so exciting to have this sort of one-day event and really bringing attention to the site that's open. It's open all spring, so that East New York site is open 2 nights a week and every weekend all through the spring and summer. So we're so excited to have this event to really raise awareness about this site, and then have a really sort of wonderful event for folks in the community.
Awesome. Well, Charlotte, thank you so much for sharing what you guys are up to. We are super psyched to partner, and I guess I'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah, there.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Hello, everyone. This is Laura Mignot from C19 Coalition. I am so excited to have Pastor Cliff and Minister Yolanda from the Church of God of East New York, who are our wonderful partners for the very first Sunday Supper experience we're doing this coming Sunday on Mother's Day in East New York. We are thrilled to be partnering with you all. And so I would love for you all to share what prompted you to decide to work with community health centers and start providing vaccinations to the local community.
Well, we've been in the East New York community for the last 91 years. And so we believe that we are to be a stabilizing presence there, serving and ministering to our community. It's our Jerusalem. And so I had been looking for a way during this pandemic to continue to serve our community, giving out food and giving out PPP. We've been doing that. But when the vaccination came out, and I know that folks that look like me were not coming out as quickly as I thought they needed to come out, or there was reservations, I started looking for the opportunity that we could be a vaccination site. And so I called some people, and then out of the blue, the church got an email that the Community Health Network, they were looking for a vaccination site in East New York. So I reached out to them. I wanted to find out more about them and who their partners were. And so we had a conversation, and I spoke to Ben and David, and I liked what I was hearing. And I thought our church was really positioned well in the community to be a vaccination site. And so we weren't using the building because of the pandemic. We were just doing our streaming. And so we had the whole fellowship hall open. And I said, this would be a great place to do this. So we invited them over. They came in, they looked at the place. They were excited. We were excited. Minister Yolanda, she was excited about working with the group. And so we went from there, and we started, I think, in the end of March. And it's been about a month now. And we said that people in our community need to see people that look like them to kind of take down the walls and invite them to come in. And so that's how we got started, and it's been going well.
Awesome.
And Laura, I
Go
have
ahead.
to tell you, we are new to this, but we are true to this. We've had volunteers who've jumped in. We've talked about just reaching out to the community. So we've walked to those bodegas, beauty shops and barber shops, you know, just to inspire people and to talk to them, not to pressure them, but to let them know that this is something that's available to them. And as Pastor Cliff mentioned, also in the East New York area, we do have a saying, and I know he mentioned something about the PPE. We have been giving out sanitizers and gloves and masks. And so this also afforded us an opportunity to do it on an even larger scale, because we would walk through the community and do it. So this has really opened up so many doors, you know, for us. And we want to be inviting. We are that church that's in East New York. There's a saying that we says, can anything good come out of East New York? Come and see. And
Amen.
so we're there to serve the people.
Amen. Amen.
Awesome. So wonderful. And honestly, that's kind of the reason why I came up with this idea for Sunday Supper. You know, for me, getting a vaccine, I went on TurboVax from Twitter and signed up on my phone to Javits Center. I took an Uber from my apartment in Lower Manhattan, got one in, got Johnson & Johnson before the pause, like 2 days before. Oh boy. All good. But it took me all of 15 minutes. And one of the things I noticed when I was sitting there at an observation is that I was the only Black person there. And I was like, yeah, this is why we have to do this. Because,
Yes,
you know, because again, like I have a degree of privilege that most folks didn't. Like, and so I've been like yelling from the rooftops, like, okay, we're gonna make this happen, because you need to see people who look like us.
That's right.
Who do this. And it was really important for me to be like not, sometimes I like to be in the behind the scenes for when I'm building stuff. And then sometimes I think I have to be in front for folks to believe, like, come on in, the water's fine. So this is one of those occasions where I've like deliberately been front facing about this, because I want folks to see that this is necessary, needed, safe, and absolutely something that has to happen. But I also realize that it's not, again, I take an Uber from my house. It's easy for me. It's not easy for everybody else. And so you all having a wonderful church to be a home base is just wonderful. So what made you all say yes when you got that email about doing Sunday suppers with us?
Well, what made us say yes? Again, I was looking for something. I was trying to reach out to New York City, and they just weren't ready. I think there was a concern that there would be more vaccines than people would be willing to take. And so they were kind of waiting. And I think they had opened the Javits Center. And so they weren't to that point where they were opening up or approaching churches. And they're still not approaching churches that much. And I think in our community, the church is pivotal. The community trusts the church, and especially when, we've been there that long. And so when I was waiting on hearing back from the city, and then I got contacted by, Community Health, and it was really a no-brainer. I did our research on the vaccinations. We actually did a seminar on COVID seminar. We did it online. We're part of an association called the National Association of the Church of God in West Middlesex, Pennsylvania, and I'm the presiding elder. And so we did that seminar, and it was national, and we had some experts on there. And so I knew that this was something that we needed to do. And I know the history, I know why there would be hesitation, with the history of experimentation on Black people and things like that. And I said, well, we can overcome the hesitation. I took the shot, my wife took the shot. We've already had our second shots. So we put it out to our congregation and to our network of churches here in the New York City area. And it was a no-brainer for me. And I spoke to our leaders, and I wanted to make sure they were on board, and they were. And Health Network had a budget, And so there were some folks that, they weren't working, and they were willing to volunteer or to fill some positions, and they were open to it. So it was a win-win. Our community would win. Folks could just walk to the church.
Yeah.
They could walk across the street, and then they would go back and get their mother in a wheelchair, and they wheel her over. Where there's a bus stop right in front of the church. All the trains are accessible. And that's how people travel here in Brooklyn. And so I was happy to provide the facility downstairs in the fellowship hall. It's a beautiful, beautiful edifice. If you ever get a chance to come,
I'm coming on Sunday.
Yes.
We designed it.
Why, you thought I was gonna just like manage this from afar? Oh, I will be there with bells on. Trust and believe. So obviously the idea for Sunday suppers we've been kind of toying it with for a little bit, and our original idea was going to HBCUs, but obviously when the opportunity from Stop the Spread came to us to work with you all, obviously we jumped at the chance. What are you all hoping to have happen on Sunday when we're going to essentially make this sort of Mother's Day celebration come together and add some additional goodies to the experience?
I'm gonna let Minister Yolanda take that.
You know what people love? People love to talk over food. And I mean, we do a lot, girl talk, guy talk, people when they're eating, they let their guards down. It's like a relaxing atmosphere. So I'm so glad you all came up with this idea, Laura, with the Sunday supper. So I really look forward to it. But I'm also hoping that the community will also get some answers. People who are hesitant, that we will have those healthcare professionals, on hand. So if there's any questions, they can answer them. And we certainly hope that we get some people that, they'll be more at ease and come in and get the vaccination.
Yeah. And it's Mother's Day, and you want to do something extra special. And I like the titles, Sunday supper. We know what supper is. And, you may not have a large meal all week long, but on Sunday, you're going to have a good meal. And so we're expecting that there would be good food. We're expecting that there would be good service in terms of hospitality. And, we say that we treat people the way that we see people.
Right.
And we want folks to see the people that come out there as people of value, people of worth, and they're worth the effort. They're worth the investment that's being made to serve them. And so they're going to get some PPP. They're going to get their masks. They're going to get their hand sanitizers and some gloves. And they're going to be able to go home with a package, with food. And they're going to be able to sit down with some of their loved ones, and they're going to eat it. And they're going to say, this wasn't a handout, just a little sandwich or something like that. This is a good meal. And it's going to help one of our restaurants, our local restaurants in the area. And I think, like I said, it's a win-win across many scenarios. And we're hoping that folks will just have a good time and enjoy it. And they'll feel good. They'll come, they'll get a shot, they'll feel good coming, and they'll feel good going. And hopefully they'll come back again once this pandemic is over and we're back to face-to-face services. And some of the other different events that we hold in the community, they'll participate in it.
Awesome. And I couldn't say anything more. I mean, that's what this is all about. And, we just hope that, folks come through, have a wonderful experience. And as you said, it's like take that great to-go meal and when they go home and talk to their family about, hey, I did this, come through, because, we've got to get back to normal. And the only way we can do that is if those numbers continue to decrease. And our communities obviously are the ones that have been hit the hardest by this. And everything that we can do to bring some dignity back to the experience, which is a big part of the idea for me, that I didn't think it was just kind of shot and go, but how can we really do something that impacts the community in a meaningful way, helps to foster the economy for local restaurants who need the help. and get folks to see folks again, even if it's while you're online. I mean, like, it's a bit of a community and immunity kind of thing going on at the same time, where it's like,
Community
while you're
and
online
immunity.
waiting for the food,
That's
grab your meal, you can start talk faster with Minister Yolanda about what's going on. But also the fact that we will have healthcare professionals there to answer questions. So if
Right.
if folks are just like, I need to know some more information, I would if you could answer my question. I think that's the thing. It's like, again, we're building this community where we want access and accessibility for folks, to feel welcome in this experience, because we know it's not an easy one. So thank you so very much for being our first partner for this, and I hope it's the beginning of a lot more interesting partnerships that we can do with you all.
Well, Laura, let me say one more thing that we're hoping to get. We're hoping that folks will leave this event, go back home, and tell somebody that hasn't gotten the vaccination yet. Come on, you can do it. I'll go with you. All right. We're hoping that more people will come out and take the vaccination and get the word out.
Yes.
So
fantastic. Yeah, again, you just said everything I need to. I don't say anything. You've done it all for me. So for those who are watching, the very first Sunday supper experience will be happening at Church of God of East New York from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are giving out Pfizer vaccines. Upon getting a vaccine, you'll get a 6-week supply of PPE and a free local to-go meal made by local restaurant. Come, bring your friends, bring your family, bring your grandma. It's Mother's Day. If you want to bring your mom and do something good, it's first and second shots are available. So if you've gone somewhere else for your first shot and it's time for your second shot and you haven't made an appointment, you're more than welcome to come. And and again, healthcare professionals will be there. So if you have questions about it, this is all about bringing dignity back to the space. So if you've got questions, you'll get answers, and because that's what's most important, because we want to try and fuel as much information and as we possibly can, so that folks feel comfortable going ahead and getting the vaccine. So I am thrilled to be looking forward to meeting you wonderful folks on Sunday, and having a great conversation and having a great Sunday. So thank you all for what you're doing within the community. I know it means so very much. And so it's great to be partnering.
Good talking to you, Laura.
And that is our talk.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you.
Absolutely.